Hey everybody, it's Dave Juno, the Meniere's Disease Warrior. How y'all doing? I'm actually, you know what? I'm doing great, and I'm going to talk about that. It's exactly what I'm going to talk about. I am really happy with what I have accomplished yesterday and today, and there are things I haven't done in a very, very long time. So let's talk about it, and hopefully, uh, you know, somebody should watch this, and you might get some inspiration. Because we can all work for this to get to different levels and to be better, whether it is with surgeries or medicine or supplements, even chiropractic. Um, we can all we can all get better. It is possible. I mean, Meniere's never goes away. Okay, even with the surgeries I have, I don't get the vertigo, but I still get other issues. So it never really goes away, but you can have those days that you're comfortable and you can do things. Now, my life kind of has been pretty good since May when I had the sac decompression surgery in this ear. And I tell everybody that. It's what worked for me. Some people it doesn't work. I know a few people it hasn't. Um, and I'm still the cochlear is still struggling, so we're gonna get that looked at on Wednesday. But what happened was we had to go to my niece's wedding, and our niece's wedding, I should say, and it was in Connecticut, down by Bridgeport, New Haven, that area. Um, about 2.5 hours, 2.5, maybe 3 hours away. Um, so we had to go, and normally I don't feel comfortable doing it, driving all that, just because of everything that's been going on. But because I had that surgery, sac decompression surgery, I'm not getting the vertigo anymore. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. I've got my wife with me. Anything happens, and I know I can't, drive all the way or I can't do this, she can take over. Not a big deal. You just pull over because I know I'm probably not going to get vertigo, but other things can happen. So we got in the car, we drove down there, and I was fine. I was fine. It was the most I've driven, distance wise, in probably 8 years. 8 years. You know, even my nephew's weddings that were up in Hampshire, my wife drove. I didn't. you know. So yeah, I did it all the way down, no problem, no problem at all. So then we go check in the hotel, and then we go over to where the wedding is. Um, no problem driving. At the ceremony was beautiful. Went to the reception. I could hear everything at the wedding, at the ceremony, back at the reception. I could hear everybody because of the cochlear implant and the hearing aid that I got last year. So hearing was beautiful. I could hear my niece's voice who got married. I could hear my sister-in-law's voices, which I haven't been able to hear in years, with the combination of everything. My brother-in-law's voices, the the people that were saying things. I mean, heck, I could hear the conversation going on behind me. There was a guy during during the whole reception that I was there watching that Giants game on his iPhone. He had it like this is a glass, right? Let's say this is a glass. He had it on the glass, and he was just watching it, and I could hear the game. And then finally, I went over and watched it with him for a little bit. Um, but it was so fun, to able to do all that stuff. And then the music started early. Um, because they all walked in and they did whatever, yada yada yada. And then the daughter father danced, the mother son danced, and everybody on the floor, and the music was bad. I That killed me. Okay, but normally what would have happened? I would have got vertigo. I didn't. Um, and this is also how I know that the sac decompression surgery worked. Um, because just went outside. Okay, because we didn't even have dinner yet, so I wasn't about to say, "Oh well, I'm done," which some people thought that's what I was going to do, and it's like, no, I went outside as soon as it boom. I went outside, and I was out there with one of my nephews. We were talking and talking with his friends, and it was great for about a half hour because that's how long that was going on. Then they started serving dinner, so we came back in. The music got very very quiet, and we ate dinner, had conversations. I could hear everybody at the table. It was just, I was so happy, and I did have to go to the bathroom because from the first bout of loud music, I literally had fluid coming out my ears, and that's because out my ear because I have a hole in my eardrum. So instead of it going down my throat like it should have been doing, it was coming out my hole in my eardrum and down my throat because sound aggravation builds up the fluid. And so I went to, like, maybe they got Q-tips in the bathroom. Who knows? It's one of these fancy dancy places. They have a table with all Tylenol, Advil, toilet paper, whatever, deodorant, all this stuff, and there was nothing. I'm like, oh crap! I really want to at least finish dinner. I don't want to go back to the hotel because I do have Q-tips in the hotel. So I went, oh, let me take a Kleenex. I took a Kleenex, really crippled it up real tight, and then was putting it in the ear. And yeah, I was getting all that fluid coming that was coming out. It was soaking it all up. Got it out. Put the hearing aid back in. Went back in. Finished dinner, and then all that was done. All the bride does this, groom does that. Whatever. Then that music hit again. Boom, 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 boom. And I just looked at my wife. She looked at me and went, "Yes, we're gonna get you out of here." And we left. Said goodbye to whoever was at the table. I told her I'm not spending 20 minutes searching for people. Who's ever at the table, we leave. We're going to see him tomorrow morning for breakfast. So, so we did that, and we just said goodbye to whoever, and we left, and everything worked out perfect. Um, and the whole day was fun. I was amazed, and my wife was actually amazed with everything I did, and she told me that while we were driving back. Um, how amazed and happy she was that I was able to do what this stuff. And I was like, well, the weekend's not over yet. We got tomorrow to deal with. Let's wait till then. So, we went back to the hotel, and it's funny. We were both exhausted. I think we changed into our PJs, and I think she loves football now. So we were watching the Giants game, not Giants, the 49ers game, and both of us fell asleep at 10 o'clock. And it was probably the best night's sleep I ever had in the last 2 years. No watching for grandchildren, no any of this stuff. It was great. So I get up this morning. She said, "How you feeling?" I said, "My ears did hurt, but no vertigo, no dizziness, no off balance." I was like, "Wow." So we had breakfast with her sisters. Um, there's three of them and the husbands, and it was a great time. It was every time we get together, awesome time. Um, and then we went back to the room, got our stuff. And now we decided to drive home. And she goes, "Okay, you want me to drive?" And I went, "No, I feel fine." And she's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "I actually feel right now normal." She's like, "Really?" I said, "I feel normal. I feel like this is 10 years ago, 11 years ago. That's how I feel right now." And she was like, "Okay." She got in the car. We both got, I had to stop and get gas, to get Dunkin' Donuts at the thing, drinking my coffee. Drove all the way home. No problem. None. Pulled in the driveway. And I said to my wife, I said, "How was that?" And she goes, "That was perfect. I am so proud of you. You've been fighting this thing for 10 years, going on to be 11 years in December. And this is the best I've seen you in 11 years. This is awesome." So basically, in like I've been fighting with this for 11 years, but since 2016, I haven't driven out of state or more than maybe 30, 40 miles. I did drive to Rhode Island once, but that was like 25. I don't live that far. It was like 25, 30 miles. Um, but I've been driven like that in I'd say 2016 was last time. And that was going down to I had to go to Atlanta, and I couldn't fly, so I drove. But doing that 2.5 hours, now I know I can do all this stuff. This surgery worked because the fluid I know was draining because of the hole in my eardrum, because I was getting that out. So instead of getting that buildup from the sac decompression surgery, from the sac that was there, that I know will probably grow back, but that was there, it isn't building up. I'm not getting that vertigo. It's draining. It's doing what it was supposed to do. And that's what worked for me. So, this is a precaution. I'm not going to say I can do this every day or every week, but it's nice to know that if I have to, I can. It's nice to know that if I do feel good and I want to take that ride, let's say out to the Berkshires, the Housatonic River to fish. It's a place I've always wanted to go. If I wanted to take that 2 hour ride out there, I can if I feel good. And this is all based on how I feel. And the thing is, if I didn't have that surgery in May, I wouldn't feel as good as I do. Okay. And I know a lot of people have said, oh, why didn't you try beta histine? Well, here's the story with me and beta histine. My body produces an abundance of histamine. Beta histine is adds histamine. It increases it. So I would literally I'd have to take Benadryl after taking that, and it's not going to do anything. So I really can't take beta histine. But I did go the shot route, steroid shots in this ear. I mean, even this one, I had labradectomy in 2019. I did the gentamicin, the steroid shots. I did the prednisone. I did everything else except for the gentamicin in this ear for medications and things like that. And the beta histine I can't take. And, diuretic I already take. I already drink a lot of water. I've been watching my salt for the last 20 years for blood pressure, even before Meniere. So none of those things are big issues for me. So for me, it was a surgery that helped. But you need one, talk to your doctor about it. Two, remember, it doesn't work for everybody. Just like beta histine doesn't work for everybody. Okay? I do know people that have had this and it really never stopped the vertigo. For me, it did. And I get all the other symptoms. But to be able to do what I did, and I haven't done it in 9 years, it was absolutely amazing. Okay. And it was basically because I worked my way to it. I didn't give up. I didn't sit there and go, oh, I got Meniere's, I'm done, and then waste my time on Facebook, um, going through posts and things like that. Like I said, I run support groups. I'm an admin of 3 of them for Meniere's. And the support groups are great. But some people kind of, my wife and I were talking on the way home. Um, some people literally stay on. They read every post and every comment, and sometimes you go down the rabbit hole. Okay, and because you start feeling empathy for everything, and then you start thinking that, well, that might work for me, or this might work for me, or then you see something that's kind of really off base. Like I saw one today asking, "Is if anybody gets vertigo when the microwave is turned on?" I I scroll by it and make a comment. I'm not going to make a comment now, um, but it is pretty far out there trying to learn, you know, trying to add something as a trigger. I mean, unless you have like a pacemaker, the microwave ain't going to do anything to you. Um, and I know that because my uncles have had pacemakers. They've been over the house. I've gone to warm up my coffee in the microwave, and they go, "No, don't do that." And one time I did it, and they started getting vertigo, but they had a pacemaker for their heart. So, maybe with a cochlear, I don't know. I really haven't. I use the microwave. I have really haven't had a problem with it. So, but it was kind of an you know, off the wall thing. But you got a question. You got a question. So I really don't want to carry this on any longer. It's 15 minutes, so I don't think a lot of people are going to watch the whole thing. But here's the thing: find what works for you. Try to better yourself, whether it's physical therapy, medications, surgeries. Um, don't sit around hoping that a pill is going to cure you. Um, Now, like I said about Epsilon a couple of days ago, yeah, it's for everything, which I was surprised when I read that. And I already explained that in the video. But it also doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. So you have to take these things into consideration. Like, what's the highest thing that will work for people? Right now, for now, it's pretty much surgery. And beta histine is second. So even though you can't get it in the States. So find what works for you. Keep working at it. Keep building at it. And you're going to get it. Okay. And that was one of the things, like my doctor told me, the follow up after this was because I literally was fishing 4 days later. And she was like, yeah, you got to keep going. If you just stopped and sat there and looked at the walls, it wouldn't, just because your attitude, it probably wouldn't work. You know, you did the right thing. So just work at it and work at it slowly. You don't need to be, stop thinking for things to be overnight. Slow and steady always wins a race. And I'm living proof. Okay? I'm living proof. So, on that note, I'll talk to you all later. Have a great night. Bye.